right, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to do something right now that I have never done in all the years that I have been the mayor of this town. I am going to exercise executive fiat in a motion that can best be described as arbitrary and capricious as you can imagine. I'm going to add something to the agenda. Now, I am going to, before we move on, there's one more resolution and one more recognition we'd like to make here tonight. It does not appear on the agenda for reasons that will become obvious to you here in a second. And so each year the council conducts a review of our city manager. And for many years, they're all here, they're filing in, and we have reported back to you for literally now over a decade that Tom Harmening is, without question, one of, if not the best city manager this state has to offer. And we are so proud of him, and we're so proud of the work he has done here. And we, a couple of months ago, they gave me this script. I do take this personally. I mean, if I were making this up, it would go a lot smoother. Anyway, rightfully so, the word of that has gone beyond our city borders. And so each year, the League of Minnesota Cities, which represents all the cities and towns in Minnesota, chooses just one individual and one only, recognized with its very top award. This is the League of Minnesota Cities, the L.L. Ludwig Cities Leadership Award. And so it is my distinct honor this evening to announce that Tom Harmening is the 2014 recipient of that award. So there you go. And ladies and gentlemen, as you can imagine, I was sworn to secrecy, and this was a conspiracy that rivaled the secrecy that surrounded when the Normandy landings were going to occur. Okay, this was a big deal, and so there are obviously very few people at City Hall that knew that this was coming. I just want to kind of briefly outline what this award recognizes. It recognizes service above and beyond what is required by the nominee's position. You know, that's one of these sort of kind of innocuous sounding sort of things, but one of the things we tell Tom is you need not work this hard. You are going way beyond what is sort of required by you. He puts in 125% he puts the full measure of himself into this position, and it shows in the results we get everywhere else. And so he is clearly so deserving of this based on that criteria. Second is contributions to improve municipal government through involvement in national, state, county, municipal, professional, or other public organizations or agencies. One of his strengths, frankly, is his ability to do just that. If there was anybody that ever sort of personified the St. Louis Park notion of collaboration, cooperation, working together with all levels of government, with all levels of the employees, it would be Tom. He personifies this better than anybody else I've ever seen. Significant improvement to the city attributable to the nominee's service. Gee, where do I start? This could go on all night. But, just about every significant improvement that has happened in the city of St. Louis Park in the last, 20 years has been as a direct result of Tom's involvement in it. First as community development director and later as city manager. We start with Excelsior and Grand and the West End and all the physical developments that have happened. But more importantly, it's this notion of being a collaborative partner with the community in everything that's important to it. If you think about that kind of a commitment to public process, if you looked up this phrase in the Funk and Wagnall's dictionary, his picture would be next to that. I mean, he defines it. Admiration and respect of the general public for the nominee and the nominee's success in raising the prestige of city government service. All I can say about that is that everything that I do wrong, he fixes, okay? And so that is a full, yeah. That's the extra 25% on top of the 100%. All right, so that's a significant part of his job, and I've always told him that your one main role in life, Tom, is to make sure that the captain of the ship does not run it up on the rocks. Okay, and so far so good. and then a selfless conduct focused on the greater good of the community. Ladies and gentlemen, this community is immeasurably better because Tom has been with us for all these years, and I think that shows not only internally but externally. Everywhere I go, I, like Chris, have said, I'm not from Minneapolis, I'm from St. Louis Park, and then they want to know where that is, and I said, okay, it's next to Minneapolis, but you got to know a little bit about it, and I kind of describe it I think, loving terms. And so, before we go on and on here, I know that, and I will tell you, by the way, that this was a conspiracy, by the way. I mean, it was clearly a conspiracy, by any legal definition of all of it. But I will tell you that the two main protagonists out there were Bridget Gothberg and Nancy Dino. Those are the people that really organized it. They're the ones that got these. So yeah. And so they were the ones that really sort of pushed this, got these people together. And we're going to watch a little video here now, as a matter of fact. And so not only is there a lecture from me, but there's a movie. And so let's fire that up now.
And can you pass the popcorn?
That's exactly. We got a little popcorn. Look at that.
Hi, I'm Geraldine Baroni, Minnetonka City Manager, and I'm excited to help nominate Tom Harmening for the C.C. Ludwig Leadership Award. Tom's been a great collaborator with the area cities. In fact, in the depths of the recession, he helped us bring us together to talk about ways that we could share resources and work together, brought in Hennepin County and the area cities, and we continue to meet to this day based on Tom's persistence in getting us together and talking about ideas and sharing information. So with that, I'm really excited to help nominate Tom, and I hope you do select him for the award. Thank you.
Tom Harmening worked for the City of Hopkins from 1990 to 1995, and during that time he was instrumental in two large projects. One was the redesign of Main Street, and the other one was the beginning of the Hopkins Center for the Arts.
And I started in Hopkins 3 years ago, and the first call I got was from Tom welcoming to Hopkins. And a month later, he hosted the area city managers and invited me to introduce me to those area city managers, and I really do appreciate that.
Hi, I'm Ann Norris, Crystal City Manager, and it has been my pleasure and privilege to know and work with Tom Harmening over the years, both in community development and in city management. Tom is visionary in his approach to redevelopment for cities. Witness all his work in Hopkins and the Excelsior and Grand and West End projects in St. Louis Park, and I highly endorse him and recommend him for the C.C. Ludwig Award. He certainly deserves this honor.
This is Ray French, and I interned for Tom Harmening in 2012. Tom deserves to be recognized for his leadership because he provides an excellent example for those of us new to the profession. I learned from Tom how to share your vision and get people excited for your organization. He also demonstrates how a leader best engages with everyone at all levels. Throughout my career, I know I will look to Tom's example for how to be a city manager.
Hello, my name is Rob Metz, and I'm the school superintendent in St. Louis Park. And I am very pleased to have the opportunity to speak for a few minutes about Tom Harmening. I am new in my role as school superintendent, and Tom was one of the first people in St. Louis Park to reach out to me when I got this job. He's been a good mentor and friend to me, both on a personal level and on a professional level. For example, he works hard to bring the school board and the city council together on important topics and issues. I especially appreciate that Tom is willing to carry the messages of the school district with him and share them as he goes about his work as city manager.
Tom Harmening is an outstanding leader, and while serving as city manager in St. Louis Park, has been instrumental in the tremendous success we have enjoyed. Other city leaders look at our community as an example of a transformation that has occurred through visionary growth and leadership. Tom's strength include his uncanny ability to attract and retain leaders in his city departments that will embrace his vision and work well with the various constituencies. He's a man in integrity and a man who puts service above self and has done a wonderful job of reaching out to all in the community. As a resident and employer in the city of St. Louis Park, I'm honored to recommend Tom Harmening for the C.C. Ludwig Leadership Award.
Hi, I'm John Basil, and I'm with Discover St. Louis Park. We are the Convention and Visitors Bureau for St. Louis Park, the destination marketing organization. We've been fortunate, due to Tom's leadership, to have Discover St. Louis Park. His vision for the whole city, the redevelopment, his passion, his follow-up, his responsiveness has led to our city being a destination for many people.
Hi, I'm Julia Ross, former City Council member of Ward 4 in St. Louis Park,
and now a resident. I think Tom deserves this award, as he's one of the few people who is in a position to train in his new bosses every 2 to 4 years, and he does it with such class. He is truly a diplomat, and he serves the people of St. Louis Park as well as the council very well. This is my mom, Louise Ross, who is also a resident of St. Louis Park. What do you think, Mom?
Oh, I think Tom is a wonderful leader, and I've worked in many organizations in City Park, and he's always been supportive of all of our activities. I think he's a great guy.
We're here to talk a little bit about Tom Harmening's leadership in the city of St. Louis Park. I've seen over the years, as Tom used to be the economic development director and now the city manager, so he's taken that city a long way in redevelopment of the West End and of Excelsior and Grand area, and a lot of redevelopment throughout the city. Matt, what are you thinking about what's going on over there?
Well, I get involved with the Minnesota City County Managers Association, and Tom stands out as a leader. People look to him, we look to him, from the city of Chaska to the stuff that St. Louis Park is doing. I know his staff greatly respects him as a leader, and we do it in the profession too. So I think that the things that you mentioned, I think really make St. Louis Park stand out.
Well, I think you're kind of wondering how we know so much about St. Louis Park, because I have had the pleasure of working there for the past 27 years, and the last 10 years under Tom's leadership. I'm very fortunate. He's a great leader. He's a great person to work for, and also he's a great friend of mine. So it's been a real honor working there, and I think Tom's leadership really shows in all that's happened over the past few years. So as the mayor of Chaska, I'm telling you, give Tom that award for it.
Tom will actually, very good, good job. There's more. Tom will actually be getting the award on the 19th at the League of Minnesota Cities annual conference later this week, and we were trying to sort of gently cajole Tom into going to that meeting without at the same time spilling the beans about all this, but that proved to be a lot more difficult than we thought, because I guess people are asking, well, Tom, this is this really cool annual conference. You should go. No, I have too much work to do. Well, but you should really go, But how far do you push that? So we decided to do this because we thought, what better place to celebrate this award than right here? And so we thought it would be nice if everyone involved. And so I want to thank all of you for coming on Tom's behalf, on our behalf, on the City Council, and those of you who made the video. Those sentiments are really much appreciated by the entire county or the community. Then my script says, Jeff, please add your own comments about Tom. God bless you. God, now you're talking my language. And so, it occurred to me that I've been around a long time, and I've made thousands of decisions, and frankly, some of them are good, and some of them have not been so good, and some of them have just been bad. And I could go on and on and on talking about all the things. I mean, think of all the stuff that we've collaborated on, all the stuff we've done, and all the community, the community development, and the renovations to the city, and all of the stuff we have coming in the future. And I mean, I could frankly go on and on, but a close friend and colleague one time said that brevity is the soul of wit, and so I just want to share with you one sentiment that I have. In 1995, I was selected as a part of there was a group of people, some on the council, some were staff people. I think Charlie Meyer was on it at that point. And we were tasked with with replacing our community development director. And I was on the interview team that interviewed Tom and a number of people. And I will tell you that I've had two decisions that I will regard as the two head and shoulders above everything else, the two best decisions I've ever made in my life. And the first one was to hire you in 1995. And the second one was to hire you and promote you to city manager in 2003. I know your whole family's here, but Ben and Savannah, this is a pretty cool guy. You should be pretty proud of him. Okay. Now, in a further, first of all, anybody else want to share anything, any comments that you got? Because keeping it a secret from you with this 6 group was not an easy task. So I sent out emails going, this is the highest priority, eyes only, and no one sees this kind of stuff. We made very certain that nobody forwarded it to you. So anybody else want to share any comments before we are going to throw you off for a second to go downstairs to the community room, and then Nancy's going to continue with the meeting. So yeah, Jake, anything you want to add?
I don't want to talk about a big project. Tom's done a million big projects, I guess. I'm in my 3rd year on the council, and when you take on the responsibility, as some of you who've been around a long time, but for those of us who are newer to the council can maybe more recently relate, it's a big responsibility, and you're nervous about what you're doing, and are you doing it right, and procedures and all that stuff. And you heard a lot about the big projects that Tom has worked on in this city, and I would say that I'm probably one of his biggest projects. just helping me feel comfortable and being available to me to ask questions. Tom has always been there, and I'm sure that I speak for a lot of us on the council and a lot of folks in the community when I say how much we really appreciate at a personal level. Right? There's all the professional pieces, but at a personal level, deep appreciation for having you as a part of what we do.
Sue?
I would agree with what Jake said in terms of speaking for myself, my appreciation for all of your work, your guidance, your leadership, and your stick-to-itiveness as city manager. And then I would add one other, which is I really appreciate that when I have, let's say, a less than sterling idea, you'll tell me. and you're polite, but you're pretty direct, and I really appreciate that. And I've seen you do that with other people as well, and I think we're all the better for it. I've been around. I joined the council in '95, right about the same time that you were joining, and so we've kind of grown up here together, and I really appreciate that. Thank you, Tom.
Steve?
I guess we're all going to jump in here because we all, honestly, we all do feel, I won't speak for everybody else. I feel very similar to what Jake had to say, being relatively newer on the council, that to have a city manager that just is there and says, call me anytime, and is responsive to that call or email, and then not, taking it one step further, whenever we have a resident issue and the residents like to come directly to the city council because we're the elected officials, a lot of times it's what we need to do is get them to the right staff person. And we, as council members, don't always know that right staff person. Tom has always been so open to say, if you ever get a call like that, send it to me, and I will make sure that the right person is helping them out. And I'm guessing that in many other cities, you don't get that from a city manager. And I am so appreciative that you make it so easy for us to do that.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Greg?
Is one of the two very new guys. I think back over my very brief time on the council, but broader, growing up in St. Louis Park, this community is blessed to have a leader like Tom run this city. And I think back over the time that I've gotten to know you more personally, and you truly deserve what is a really big deal and quite a big award in the world of local government here. So, Tom, you deserve it, and thank you for what you do.
Ann?
And I'll just quickly say that most of us here, I think, feel so much that St. Louis Park is such a well-run city. And I always feel like he makes us look good. We'll have these discussions where we have seven different people, which means about 14 different opinions and thoughts and ideas. And then Tom will say at the end, what I've heard. And then he outlines the next 3 steps. And we're all like, yes, that's it. And his ability to do that makes us look good and frankly makes the whole city look good. So again, I think you more than deserve this.
Good. Tim?
Tom, before I came here, I've been in a county attorney's office. I've worked as a city attorney with a number of municipalities, and your reputation is widely spread. It's a tribute to you, how well you do your job, that your fellow professionals are recognizing you as a true professional and one of their leaders. And I think what's impressed me even more than that since I've come on board here is how much you care about this community. And that's tremendous. I mean, you love this community, even though you don't reside here. I don't understand why that is. Regardless, You love.
Why is that a problem?
You love this community as if it was your own, and you treat it like you would somebody you love, and we appreciate that. Thank you.
Jeff,
Last word is yours, my friend. Yeah.
I just wanted to say one thing on this award. For those of you for 99.99% of the population that doesn't follow these sorts of issues.
Microphone, microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry. For those of you who don't, and most of you I'm sure don't, track this, Minnesota is sort of nationally is widely regarded as one of the states in the country that has the most forward-thinking, creative, innovative city government officials, right? Sometimes it may be hard for us to believe that when we read the papers, but it's true. And when you go to the National League of Cities conferences and events and you say you're from Minnesota, people, they really perk up. This award, in essence, is like all-star baseball players picking their #1 all-star for the season. And Tom is the state's #1 all-star, the best, most creative and innovative municipal leadership in the country comes from Minnesota, and that group of people picked that guy. And so we are super, super lucky. I just wanted to clarify that. So
yeah, congratulations. And the last word is yours, my buddy.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Members of the council, I have to say, this is not on the agenda.
No, it's not.
And you
also
did not talk to me
tonight
about
either.
it.
You're getting it on Thursday, so that's it.
And I am stunned that you were able to keep this secret. As well as my daughter, who I can get everything out of. I just want to introduce my family, my wife Jennifer, my mom Gertrude, my son Ben, my daughter Savannah, and my mother-in-law Janet. Well, I'm shocked. I wasn't prepared for this, but wow, thank you so very, very much for your efforts and your support in my receipt of this award. Just a few things. First, I just have to recognize my wife because she's the one who has to put up with me every day, and sometimes I come home at night after a council meeting hitting my head on the wall, but she is always a great sounding board, and quite candidly was really very instrumental in suggesting that I try to get this job, that I apply for this job. So without Jennifer, I wouldn't be here. I can tell you that right now. My kids, obviously, they're the best. I'm very lucky to have them. And they're very supportive of me as well. I'm always gone on Monday nights and other nights as well. So that means I miss baseball games or dance recitals or skating or whatever the case might be. And they're always very understanding of that. Obviously, my mom, you always got to thank your mom, right?
Oh, yes.
My mom is...
If she's not here, yeah, thank you, Mom. Yeah.
My mom and dad both really instilled in me and my two brothers a very strong work ethic and the importance of giving 100% and giving back to the community. My dad was a mayor and a fire chief and a city council member and a church leader and the like, and he really role modeled for me the idea of giving back. And my mom obviously did a great job, I think, raising us, the three boys. I felt sorry for her about it. And then my mother-in-law, Janet, incredibly supportive, a great mother-in-law. There's a lot of mother-in-law jokes out there, but boy, I'll take a mother-in-law like Janet any time. And she raised a great daughter in Jennifer. Then I want to thank obviously all of the staff because they make me look good. This job really isn't that hard if you've got really good staff. That's true. If you hire good people, give good direction, get out of the way, they do really good stuff. So Nancy and Bridget are going to pay for this now. They're going to pay for this. But again, my success is their success, and without them, I wouldn't be here either. I wouldn't be successful. I also want to thank all of the partners out in the community. One of the things that makes St. Louis Park very special, and I've worked in 4 different communities. I've been here the longest, and there's a reason for it, because this is the best city to work for, is the partnerships and relationships that exist in the city, and there's examples of that throughout the room. Park Nick, I've got the school district here, Rob Metz. Love working with Rob. Discover St. Louis Park. We've got Benilde St. Margaret's. We've got some consultants here. We've got Jim Brummeyer, who's been a mentor of mine, believe it or not. Jim and I go back to about 1988. I hired Jim for a search when I was working in Hastings, and Jim has been a person that I've admired ever since, and I'm glad he's living in St. Louis Park, and he was a great council member as well. So I apologize if I missed anybody. Krista Getchell, I see her from Park Nick. And then I've got to recognize the city council. I mean, I didn't do all of this. We did all of the good stuff in this community. You let us do all of this good stuff in the community, and the smartest decision I ever made was coming to work for St. Louis Park in 1995. The council has been incredibly supportive, visionary, leaders in and of themselves, always looking to be on the cutting edge, sometimes the bleeding edge, as Clint and I well know. Having a risk tolerance, a proper risk tolerance, but also understanding that when you are leading and taking some risks, you're going to be failing sometimes, and that's really hard to do in the public sector. Everything is so exposed. I just love working here. It is the best city in the state to work for, no question about it. If I got run over by a milk truck tomorrow, you'd have about 5,000 applications to work here, because this is viewed as such a great place to work. So thank you so very, very much. I am the luckiest guy in the public sector, and without you and everybody in this room, I wouldn't be able to do this. So thank you very, very much.
Well, congratulations. You richly deserve this award. And now you are to go downstairs, by the way, with all these people to enjoy the reception, and Nancy's going to take over and pinch hit for you tonight. Okay. So.
I just want to say one thing. One more thing.
I didn't get a script.
I apologize. Stuff, you know. Working for Mayor Jacobs is a trip in itself. And I do have to say one thing about Jeff, though. Jeff was on, as he said before, he was on the interview panel when I was hired as city manager, or as community development director. And I remember he was sitting right to my left. And I said to him and to the group, you know, I don't know if I can do this job. And Jeff said, the very reason, something to the effect that the very reason you think that way or feel that way gives me a good reason to want to hire you. Something to that effect. And then I remember when the council voted to appoint me as city manager, I was at home, and Jeff called me to tell me that the council had voted to appoint me. And I was scared and nervous, because I was following Charlie Meyer, and Charlie was incredibly well respected, a tough act to follow. And I remember Jeff saying, I said something to the effect, I've got big shoes to fill, and Jeff said, we're not hiring you to fill Charlie Meyer's shoes. We're hiring you to fill your own shoes and be a leader for this community. And I'll never forget that, Jeff. That meant a lot to me. So thank you.
Okay. Cool. Okay. We'll let these people clear out here. Hey, man.